Hi everyone, welcome to the very first season of the Study Talk Show. My name is Prakriti and I represent Zenit as the Strategic Placement Officer. We often come across many students who have been asking us questions related to the different countries that are situated globally. What we've decided to do collectively is to bring everything under one umbrella that is called the Zenit Study Talk Show. This will definitely help all the young minds gather the different information that they're seeking, and this will definitely help in answering their queries that is not easily accessible on the internet. I'll be trying my level best to take up all the queries and provide useful information. Do keep visiting the page for more such queries and doubts that might arise in the later part of your time. Today, I am very excited to introduce you all to our guest speaker in the talk show, Mr. Roshan, who is representing Pacific Link College. So Roshan, how have you been doing today?
Good. That's nice. Happy to interact with you. Looking forward for a good interaction.
Same, likewise. So Roshan, tell me something about Pacific Link College.
Pacific Link College is a college based out in Vancouver. I always put it as a no-nonsense college. We're very focused with jobs, and if jobs is in our mind, we are a perfect college. Generally, what is said that it is the jobs for which we study, and if somebody is going for a research, then probably a university would do. But if anybody who's looking for jobs seamlessly entering into Canadian workforce, then we are the best college, I would say.
That's really good to know. So what is your job profile over there?
I head the South Asia for Pacific Link College. So in terms of, I do the student recruitment. So what we do is we interact with the consultants, and then in turn, sometimes we help them out with interacting with the students, clearing their queries and other stuff.
That's nice. So in a way, I can call you as a recruiter.
Yep.
And how do you exactly do that then? Do you travel a lot?
Yes, I travel a lot. But generally, the traction for Canada is from Chandigarh, the entire of Punjab, most part of Gujarat, Mumbai, Hyderabad, and Kerala. So these are the pockets wherein students generally go for Canadian studies. So these are the places where I visit very often and be in touch with all of them, because any of the problems are there, I'm always reachable so that they can call me and ask me, and I'm happy to clear the doubts.
So that's your target market, basically.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So Roshan, why do you think that my children should actually consider Canada as a study destination?
Okay, fine. Very important thing is that what is the objective of the student? Generally, 90% of the students which I interact with, they have the aim of settling down in that country. So if that is the case, then US or UK or Australia are the wrong places to go, because they would be happy to welcome you as a student, but for a job they are skeptical. So you should understand that they are not very welcoming for the workforce, but they are very welcoming for the student force. So but then as a student, any of the students' objective is to go to Canada, study, and then get into the workforce. So there is a disconnect with other countries, whereas with Canada, very clear that the country wants people. The population is very less. It is just 3.46 crore people with the land 4 times bigger than India. So you can understand that the country wants people and they're welcoming. So that's the reason, if you are considering any other countries, then do consider Canada, because Canada is one country which is more than happy to welcome.
So can I also say that the quality of education is quite high in Canada?
Yeah, the Canadian studies are quite different, unlike India, because they more concentrate on the practicums, and that's the reason the quality of the studies is on a next level, wherein you would be able to get your real-time experience, and that's the difference what it makes. And considering Pacific Link College, we are one step ahead, wherein for any of the colleges, the student would go on a S1 visa, that is a study visa, wherein the student can do only part-time, but not a full-time. But all the students who go through Pacific Link College go on a SW1 visa. That means the student has a full-time permission to work, and this makes a difference. When a student is doing a full-time, then the kind of exposure he gets on that subject is on a next level altogether, and that's the difference it makes to the quality of studies with the student does. So you can see the marked difference. Any of the top university student is on the across the table for the interview, and my student who has 1 year of experience, in terms of the talk which he has, the weight in which he is talking is quite different, and that's the difference which we make for any of the students.
Okay, and there is some homework that I have also done. So can I consider affordable cost as one of, again, the parameters to consider studying in Canada? Then stable economy is again a factor, very important factor.
Absolutely, because there are many. So if I can, to name a few, first one I would rate as it is the safest place to live in, and year on year Canada is ranked as the safest place. So any of the females or the males who are considering any other country, the Canada is the best because it's safe. Second thing is it is multicultural. See, if you can see any of the population, there are local population for Canada, because 200 years ago, all of them, so it is an immigrant country. So all of them are immigrants, and that's the reason they're welcoming. So the communities are very, very close-knit. So they show a lot of warmth and love to all of them. So the older population which is there, the communities basically, they greet the students, and they're very, very welcoming to the students. That's one. And as you told, so all of this put together, it makes a very good country to study and to be with. And one more thing is the affordability. Most of the colleges, including us, we are very, very affordable. When I say when I generally share the price, the fees of the college, they're very, very shocked, because it is almost the fees of India. So any of the India for 2 years, it would be ranging from 8 lakhs to 10 lakhs. That's the same amount of money which we charge for the students. So that's one wherein many of the students might be wanting to go to Canada, but then they hold back themselves because we don't have funds and other stuff, because they think it is something a crore or 60 lakhs, 80 lakhs, a crore. It's not. So if I share my probably at the fag end of the interview, I'll share what are the 1 year fees and the 2 year fees, and probably student would be very, very shocked to know that this is the fees which is almost equivalent to Indian fees.
That's really, really great to hear. So this definitely counts to be some positives of why to study in Canada, and especially for PLC.
Yep. Okay, I'll just tell that the fees also for the 1 year fees. We have 14,900, that's $15,000 after the scholarship, because Zenit has a partnership with us. So these scholarships are only with Zenit or very few of the consultants, not with anybody. Anybody who is approaching us directly would be paying $15,000 only. So for a 1 year fees for Zenit, it would be $9,900, and for a 2 year fees, which is 25,000 for Zenit students who are coming through, it would be 14,900 for 2 years. 14,900 is roughly around 8 lakhs pegged Indian rupees for 2 years. So which is nothing. Really very, very affordable. Yeah,
which is barely nothing actually. Okay, can you tell us about PSWP? I would really love to know about post-study work permit.
Okay, fine. See, in Canada, to stay back, actually PSW was introduced so that the student gains the experience and apply for the PR. With Pacific Link College, with our pathway, 1 year with us and 1 year with Trinity or with the BCC or with KPU, student would be eligible for 3 years of post-study work permit. However, with PLC, there is one added advantage wherein the student after the 2 years can apply for the work-specific work permit, which any other students, generally other students are not eligible because they don't have a work experience. Because with Pacific Link College, 1 year they're studying, 2nd year they are working. So any of the employers would be happy to sponsor them, and there's a reason they can apply through the LMI route, which is a faster PR because they would be getting 50 Canadian points. See, I'll just tell you, if you are working in Canada for 2 years, you'll be getting 15 points. But then with the LMI route, which you're taking, which is possible with the the SW1 visa what the student is applying for, they can get 50 Canadian points. So generally Indian students are on 420 odd CSR points. So with the 50 point and the 15 points which is coming, so student would be holding a threshold of 480, which will be easier for a student to apply for a PR. So when the other colleges would be only talking about the post-study work permit, we talk about the PR and the CSR points for, because generally students don't understand when they are in India, but when they go to Canada, they understand that, oh, this is a PR game and not a post-study work permit game altogether, because they want to get PR as soon as possible because they want to enjoy the benefits as any of the Canadians do. And for that, they require a PR. So when the other colleges are only talking about the post-study work permit, we talk about not only the work permit, but the PR.
Yeah.
And point number 2 to be noted is that in India, only the student would be getting the work permit. As I told you, any of the student would be getting SW1 visa. SW1 visa is a work permit visa. The first year is study, second year, the student is entitled to give the entire 8 hours of full-time job like any of the other people are. So it is a legal 8 hours of job. One more thing I just want to share you, which is currently the new, that any of the students who are going on a SW1 visa, in the first year, they were entitled for the part-time. But then because there is a shortage of people in Canada currently, Canada has opened doors that the student can do 8 hours in the first year and 8 hours in the second year. So that is a very, very big boost to any of the students, because roughly around $2,500 to $3,000 any of the students should earn in their per month. So that is in the first year also roughly around $25,000-$30,000, second year also. So it is roughly around $50,000 to $60,000 student would be earning when they are studying.
So just imagine that studying, exposure, everything going hand in hand, which is unlikely to happen in India for sure.
Yes, and even in Canada, many of the colleges would tell that it's a co-op job, co-op studies, but then the co-op component would be optional. I just want to tell you that if there is an optional co-op, then the student would be going and doing the work anywhere, need not be the area of study. But when I tell that is a compulsory co-op and the SW1 visa is stamped on a passport, that means that the work what you're doing is related. Imagine if my student is going on a hospitality, then he will be working in the hospitality industry. If he's on a digital media, he'll be in digital media. So it is correlating to the studies what he is doing. So that's the difference between any of the normal co-op and a mandatory co-op. So Pacific Link College gives a mandatory co-op, and this would be mentioned in your LOA, letter of acceptance.
This is awesome. This is really awesome. I wish these courses would have been a little time back when I was studying, so I would have definitely enrolled for one. This is really thrilling.
One more advantage which we have is that because we want our students.
Are there more?
Yeah, because we want our students to work for, and they have a full time, and there's the reason what we do is we have an option of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Generally, all our students study on a Saturday, Sunday, and work from Monday to Friday. In that way, they finish their studies and the full time job together.
This is definitely
one more question. Any of the student, because generally student would ask. I know when I'm studying, I don't want to work because it might disturb my studies. But here I just want to bring to your notice that the student is studying what he is working. So it would not disturb, but then it would enhance his studies. So if somebody is working on a digital side and coming on a Saturday, Sunday class, the level of studies or interaction with the faculty would be on a different level altogether, because he has done a real-time work. Yes. And that's the point I want to tell you, because Indian students or the parents are like, no, hamara bacha padhai ke liye ja raha hai bas. So it's not like that. It would enhance their the level of education and the interaction with the faculty. That what I wanted to bring to it.
Roshan, this is the typical Indian mindset, that people are sending their children for studies. But I believe once these things are, this is the purpose. This is the wholesome purpose of this talk show, Through the medium of this, basically, we will be telling people and we'll be making them aware and spreading the awareness regarding what they're missing, outside, and what PLC has to offer, which they might not, or which they might be likely to miss in India. So yeah, if children are getting the exposure, then why not? They should actually come out with, go abroad, study as well as work, and work that too related to the course that you're, pursuing. It's amazing. It's really amazing. Okay, so let us take you. Next question will be, what streams does your university cater to? I mean, do you offer programs to students for all streams like science, arts, commerce?
We have for everybody. In fact, we have for everybody. That's the beauty, that we have very few programs, but then you'd be surprised that we have program for each and every stream. Starting with arts, we have for arts, generally students go for business hospitality or for digital media studies. Because again, people would be skeptical, arts and digital media. Digital media something has SEO, content writing, which any of the art students are very good at. And currently SEO content writers are the most in demand. So art students can apply for these. For a science student would be applying for three, that is, we have a IT, we have digital media, and we have business hospitality. So these are the three when in, and BCom students can apply for digital media and business hospitality. IT, they should skip because IT requires a background of computer science or programming, which is required. So and for any of the other engineers also, digital media is the most sorted out program. We call it as a plain vanilla program. I'll just tell you why. Because any of the students, currently digital media is not limited to any specific industry. For example, automobile has a Facebook page, they are digital. So any hospitality has digital, Zomatos. So any of the industry, even in fact education has a digital arm. So probably everybody would have their Facebook pages and digital people to take care of it. So any of the industries, be it requires digital arm. And for that, specific people from their industry, they can represent them better. And there's a reason. This is a plain vanilla program. So anybody can do it. For a science biology background, we have two programs. One is an early child care program, and one we have is healthcare and community services, which is a much in demand. Healthcare services, I just want to tell you that many of the colleges in Canada open up their medical programs only for domestic students, not for the international students. So this is an easy way of going to Canada, where many of them with different who have physiology, many of the other life sciences they have, and they are confused what to. So they can always go for a healthcare program which encompasses all of them. So anybody with any of the life sciences background can apply for healthcare and community services, which is much in demand in Canada. Okay, so that's about which caters to all of them. So because it is very important for any of the student that it is in line with what they're applying for. So all these courses, what we have seen, and the streams I have suggested are in line. There's a reason. There is no issues when they are applying for the visa, that it resonates with what they have studied.
All right. Okay. So could you also tell me about the facilities that you would be offering to our international students? Like what is specifically, I would like to talk about PLC.
In terms of accommodation you're talking about, or
yes, the different facilities on board.
Okay, fine. One is that we offer all our students one online Harvard program to which will be offloaded to all of the students. So the certificate would be directly coming from Harvard, and that's very prestigious. And since we have tied up with Harvard for a nominal price, which if you have directly go to Harvard, you would have shelled out a lot of money. So we have mapped down some of the programs. So for hospitality, we have a program, a short-term 3 months or 5 months of program, which would be the online would be delivered by Harvard itself. So this is one certificate which they would be getting. This is from a content perspective. From accommodation perspective, when the student is getting the visa, our visa team would get in touch with them. And from that day onwards, these are students. So right from picking them from the airport to dropping them to the place which they have selected, there are two things now. Once we would, as I told you, a month before only, we would interact with the student. We give them the options as to where exactly they can stay and other stuff. So that based on their budget, they can select, and we would interact with the landlord and makes it. So once the student is in Canada, we would pick him and drop him to the place which he is selected. Or if he is with the relatives and he wants a pick up or drop, we do that. So we take care of of all of the other things which are there. and including the medical insurance and other stuff. So we have a good student service department which takes care of the students to the fullest, so that they don't have any problems as such. And in fact, one more thing is that any of the other students who are going for a pathway, as I told you, we have a pathway with the various universities. If the student is willing to, then in the day one itself, we would arrange for the offer letters with these universities, so that it is seamless and the student would be need not worry when he is doing the pathway from our college to the other universities.
This is amazing, because then Indian parents will definitely not be worrying anymore. They are in safe hands. The children are definitely in safe hands.
Yeah. Prakriti, one thing I just wanted to break, because I forgot to tell you one more thing which is there, is that for any of the bachelors, because we have a pathway with the KPU, or for that matter with Trinity, the students can finish the bachelors within 3 years and not necessarily 4 years.
4 years.
Okay.
So
This is this. And why is this possible? Because our 2-year program is treated as because we finish it in 1 year, but then the curriculum is of 2 years. That's the reason the student would be directly transferred to the 3rd year of bachelor's with any of the other universities, and not necessarily the 2nd year. So wherein the major chunk of the students, wherein they are finding it difficult to clear the 1st year and the 2nd year of the university, we would always recommend the student come to Pacific Link College, because the curriculum is very practical. So students don't flunk, they enjoy doing it, and they transfer themselves to the university when the subjects are easier. In that way, the student will also pass and would get the experience, and affordability also would be there. Because if the student is directly going to KPU, then he would be shelling something around a lakh, 90,000 to $1 lakh, whereas with Pacific Link College it would range from $40,000. So it is almost half the price what a student would be shelling out if he's directly going to the university. But mind you, the degree or diploma or the degree is granted by KPU itself. So the final degree what you would be getting is from KPU. So that's one advantage. Yes.
That is good. That is really good, because playway learning is definitely going to be the need of the hour. Children get bored very easily. They do not want to dive into the books anymore. So
absolutely,
yes, so that's a good point again. Okay, could you also focus on the most popular course that PLC offers as of now?
Okay, digital media studies is the most sorted out program, as I will feel very passionate about it, because the thing is, student need not ask a placement because the freelance job itself is too much. So any of them would be wanting to have you. So this is because I'll just tell you one thing. We don't give random programs, because we have to give the jobs. As a reason, we give programs which are relevant. So my mantra is that if you do random programs, you'll get random jobs. You do specific programs, you'll get specific jobs. Okay. So this is a very, very specific skill set, which even the MBA students who have already done their MBA, they can go for, because we have for all these programs, what I have told, we have a advanced diploma and a PG diploma. So if somebody has done their MBA, they can do a PG diploma in digital media or a bachelor's level, any one of them. But then it will give a weightage, because students who have done marketing MBA, it is no longer there, because all their marketing has digitalized. So I would urge any of the other MBA marketing students or other students also, you can take up digital media management studies, because the fee, the salaries that you would get is in line with any of the artificial intelligence or the data scientist, but then the headache is less. So many of the engineers prefer this, because 4 years they're bugged up with the studies, and they don't want something which is cooler subjects. So digital media management is the management in digital, which will take your career to a different trajectory altogether. At the same time, you will be happy coming to the office rather than breaking your coding and other stuff. So this the subject also, I'll tell you, it's very, very simple. Digital branding, digital advertising, and it is very, very easier to consume, and you would feel happy working for the next 5 years or 10 years or 20 years, because it is not only the studies which matters. After your 2 years, you're going to work, right? You should enjoy your work.
Yes.
So digital media, I would always tell any of them would be enjoy doing it. And at the same time, your pay packages will be on a much higher level as compared to any of the engineers or data scientists.
So next time I counsel any of the students, I'm definitely going to use your mantra that if you're choosing a random course, then you can, this is definitely worth it. Thank you for sharing that mantra. One last question from for you would be that is PLC entitled or giving any financial aid to all the international students coming?
Just as I told you, for $25,000, we are giving a flat scholarship of making the fees as affordable as possible. So then the student need not. So I'll tell you one thing. When the student is doing their part-time, imagine now, but anyways, now he's entitled for a full-time. So the fees of 14,990, but then the student is earning double of that, that is 25 to 30,000 in the first year and 30,000 in the second year. So for a fees of just 14,990, the earning potential is 4 times what he has paid for the college. So, and if the student is thinking, oh, we are not getting, probably we might get job and all, I just want to tell you, for business hospitality student, here in India, we give a job interview letter. Yes, you heard it right. We give the job interview letter because we cannot give a job appointment letter. So what we do is we give an interview letter. Once you are in Canada, within 7 days, you would face the interview. And you would be getting the job. So to be very frank, if you can go to Facebook page link of Pacific Link, you can see the student, or the YouTube, you can see all the interviews of the student without telling that last week I had come, today I have a job and I'm working. So you can hear a lot of testimonials, and I know for sure that because we have blanket approvals from Tim Hortons to many of the bigger Sheraton chain, many of the hotels who have told, by the virtue that you are a student of Pacific Link, they are our employees. So that much of confidence I have. I'll share you some of the videos of these employers who have told that we would be happy employing and the students from Pacific Link College, which will give you a booster and a confidence that yes, the students would be definitely getting the jobs.
I'm going to ask my children definitely to subscribe to PLC on Facebook now. All right. Okay. So, well, I think it was really a very informative.
I just want to add one more, and then we will wrap up. See, one thing which probably, because if you know the known things which are known, you would not be glued to. But then I'll just tell you something which generally not many people know. And one that is that Canada is a reference market job. Okay. When I tell reference, because 80% of the jobs go through references. It is very unlike that India, right? We feel Sifarish and other stuff is looked down. But Canada, you require a sponsor, you require a reference.